Do you think you should swing like Roger Federer on your forehand? Well, I'm going to present an argument today why you shouldn't copy the best forehand of all time. My name is Jeff Salzenstein, founder of Tennis Evolution and former top 100 ATP professional. And in today's lesson, we're going to cover the forehand and why I think you should not copy a certain element of Roger's forehand and the reason why. So if you study the way that he swings on his base forehand, Roger finishes just below his shoulder on a lot of his forehands. His swing path is more across the body. He's creating so much acceleration, so much racket head speed that he's able to swing across the body, create a lot of rotation, and finish just below his shoulder. And I love this forehand if it works for you. It obviously works for Federer, and I know that many of you out there could make it work for you, but there's a problem. And the problem is us mere mortals trying to play tennis get tight. We get tighter than Roger. And when we do that, at least what I've experienced as a player and seeing students that I've worked with over the years, is that the arm feels heavier when you're nervous and you actually start finishing lower. So if you've trained yourself to go across your body and finish below the shoulder and have kind of a straighter swing where the ball goes straighter like this instead of like this, and you get tight and you finish down here, what happens? The ball starts diving down into the net. I mean, that's one of the most common errors in tennis, especially on the forehand side. When players get tight, the ball goes down to the net. So we've got these problems here. We got the problem of the ball going into the net. We've got a problem of extension. So when we swing across the body, if we're loose, we get plenty of extension out away from the body. But when we're tight, we start to swing in here. So ball goes in the net, we lose extension, we also lose depth. The ball lands short. So even if we clear the net, the ball lands short, we don't have enough on it. And finally, we might even have more mishits because, again, we're not staying on the ball long enough. We're not creating enough extension. We're pulling off the ball more when we're nervous. And I've got a student that I've been working with, and at the time that we were shooting this video, she was struggling with her forehand because she thought, oh my gosh, I'm copying the ATP modern forehand. It feels so amazing. And I said, hey, that's great. If it feels amazing, keep doing it. But if you get tight and the ball starts going into the net, we've got to do a different thing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's very, very simple. What I want you to focus on is following through higher, finishing higher. So instead of finishing here, below the shoulder, I want you to exaggerate finishing over the shoulder. And again, you're probably saying, Jeff, I mean, that's just common sense. Well, it is common sense, and that's the idea around this. We want things to be simple for you when you're playing tennis. So again, if I swing across, okay, I hit a good forehand there and went low over the net, and I finished below my shoulder, and it works, then we're in business. I mean, things are working, we're clicking. But when we're tight, and that ball dives into the net, I believe that most players should follow through over the shoulder like this. This is one reason I'm a big proponent of even catching the racket at the end, because it ensures that you finish in this area right here. What does this do? Well, it's the opposite of the problems that I talked about earlier. First of all, if you swing low to high like this and you go over the shoulder and that becomes your base forehand, your fundamentals are going to be stronger, in my opinion. And again, this is an example of why we don't want to copy Roger unless we have an advanced forehand and we're able to stay loose with it. So our fundamentals get stronger, we finish low to high, and the ball starts clearing the net. We make the commitment to clear the net by finishing high and over the shoulder. This is one reason why I teach the buggy whip, because when you swing on the buggy whip and you finish above your head like this, guess what happens? The ball clears the net more often. We're trying to ensure that under pressure, when you're so nervous and tight, that you finish over the shoulder or with the buggy whip so that the ball clears the net. The more that you swing across, the more there's a tendency of the ball that goes in, the ball will go into the net. So we're going to clear the net more. What else do we get? If we exaggerate finishing over the shoulder, there's a greater chance that we're going to have more extension. So if you see here, lots of extension as I go over the shoulder. It's pretty hard to go over the shoulder and be tight like this. I mean, you can do it. I've seen it before. But I believe that it's easier to create extension when you go low to high over the shoulder than when you swing across, especially when you're tight. And when you do that, guess what? You get more depth. And obviously depth is a huge component of playing winning tennis. So we have solved a number of problems with your forehand just by changing the follow through. And when you follow through over the shoulder, your swing path is more low to high. And oftentimes it's easier to get more topspin. So I really want you to consider that if you're one of these players that hits forehands in the net under pressure, if you're watching YouTube videos and you're studying Roger and you see him swing across and you've been copying him and you think, oh my gosh, this is the way to do it. This is an example of when you don't want to copy the best in the world unless you're able to do it. That's the caveat. You can swing across and finish here all day long if you're ripping forehands. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing that. But from my experience, I've seen players miss in the net a lot more when they swing across. Now, when you start moving into the court, that's when, again, it's probably easier to swing across because you have less distance and you have to get the ball to go up and down into the court. But the further that you move back behind the baseline, you want to exaggerate finishing over the shoulder. So that's my breakdown of one reason, one big reason why you shouldn't copy Roger Federer in this instance on the forehand side. He does a lot of things great, as you know. He's got arguably the best forehand of all time. But when it comes to the follow-through, you really have to consider not copying him. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I had a lot of fun making it because my whole goal is to really help players improve. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a pro. These are tips that come from just hard-won battles in the trenches as a player and as a coach. And so if you're not subscribed to our channel already, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure your notifications are turned on because we're going to be updating you with future free content at our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out to get the word out. Let other people know that what we're doing over at Tennis Evolution. And finally, I've got a free gift for you today. You've taken this time to watch this entire video. You've come this far. I want to give you a free gift. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the link in the description below or somewhere in this video. And I'm going to take you to another page. And when you get to that page, you're going to have an opportunity to sign up to learn 3 forehand myths that almost all players are making. They're at least making one of the 3 myths, if not 2 or all 3 of them. And not only do I want to share these myths with you, I want to give you the solutions to the mistakes that you could be making on your forehand. So click the link in the description below or somewhere in this video. I want you to click to get to that page where you can pick up the 3 forehand myths you could be making. Thanks so much for your time today. Click the link in the description below. We'll see you at the next lesson.